that's one of the lowest I've ever heard of.
Is $4 million low
A budget?
in 1997?
I think this was a lower end, sure.
Because that's what the movie you're making me watch today was budgeted as. 1997's Perdita, Durango. Also released as Dance. Well, it was good pronunciation, right?
That was.
Also released as Dance with the Devil by director Álex de la Iglesias.
Would you say the budget was? What was the budget on that?
I think I just read 4.2 million estimated.
Okay, sounds right.
Yeah, this movie makes me want to watch this dude's other shit. And the one movie of his I had heard of, which is called The Last Circus, I think it was, because I saw like a poster for it on Amazon, I think. And it always looked pretty twisted. And now that I've seen this, I definitely want to watch it because this was fun. This guy's kind of a Tarantino-y kind of guy, which I kind of like. He's very Tarantino.
Yeah, I'm surprised I haven't heard of it.
All these wacky, unrelatable, unlikable for most part, evil characters.
They're bad people.
But
they're bad people.
But you enjoy watching them because they interest you. It's like a Tarantino movie.
Yeah, it was like Tarantino, Rodriguez, little splash of Lynch, kind of like just this bizarre world. Like that was what I liked about it, was that because I went in thinking I was not gonna like it, and I kind of accepted that, like, okay, this is just this fucking weird criminal world, sort of like a Tarantino movie, sort of like a Rodriguez movie.
It's elevated. It's not real life.
Yeah, so you gotta going in and accepting that. I'm like, okay, I can accept the circumstances in this fucking wacky journey we're about to go on.
For sure.
I think it's pretty realistic, though.
Nah, I don't think people behave like this. I don't think people just decide to do the things they do for the reasons they do it like this.
They
like,
could.
It's definitely embellished. I mean, well, it's based. Well, speaking of David Lynch and Quentin Tarantino, this movie's based off of a book called 59 Degrees and Raining, which is the third book in a trilogy of books called Wild at Heart, Sailor's Holiday, and 59 Degrees and Raining, the story of Perdita Durango, all written by this guy who writes these characters, Sailor and Luna. Which, have you guys ever seen Wild at Heart, the David Lynch film?
Yeah.
Have you seen that, Anthony?
Yeah.
So it's about these two characters that are basically Perdita and Romeo in their own ways, that just sex-driven, violence, murder, mayhem, like the grotesque and doing fucked up shit. So it's in the same category as all that. And I mean, I thought to myself, I wonder if Tarantino took from this, and then I realized that he was made in 97 and he had made two movies, but the book was written in 92. So I wonder if he read one of the books, and he definitely saw Wild at Heart. There's no way in hell David Lynch movie came out and Tarantino didn't see it. So like I wonder if he took from these movies to write Natural Born Killers and all that shit too.
Natural Born Killers, the Honey
even
Bunny,
True
Pumpkin,
Romance.
True Romance. Yeah, all those are. Yeah, this is like a Robert Rodriguez meets a Seth MacFarlane. That's how I wrote it.
Seth MacFarlane
with all the
made
wild.
Family Guy?
Yeah, it's like a Family Guy episode. This fucking movie.
It does have a lot of flashbacks and weird instances.
A lot of
like
flashbacks.
That.
They probably spent $3 million on flashbacks.
Yeah, well, bizarre humor all throughout.
Big flashback budget.
Big flashback budget. We see the war. We see Jesus Christ getting crucified. We see her. We see like flashbacks of Perdita's life, which are just like two flashbacks of her dad going crazy and then killing. Or I mean,
that was her brother. That was her brother-in-law. That was her brother-in-law killing her sister, because she explains it at the beginning of the movie. It's her brother-in-law killing her sister and her two nieces. And that's who she has the ashes in the beginning of the movie. That's her sister's ashes. She's explaining to the little girls.
It was her husband. It was her husband, I think.
Her sister's husband. No. It was her sister. It was a sister ass. It was the sister's.
Her sister's ashes. She was coming to spread. Yes.
Yes. But it was her. Okay.
Sister's husband that killed her and two little girls. Yeah.
So
I remember that. That was a good
my thoughts on this movie and how we could talk about it is, I don't know if going through this movie by instance is the way to go, because there's really no plot. It kind of just, okay, they're going to go here because of this and they get there. But the things that happen along the way are what makes the movie.
Right.
So like, I almost feel like you just talk about like the parts that
it's
interesting, you know what I mean?
It's fairly linear. Like it makes sense for, the circumstances are kind of sometimes nonsensical and certainly absurd, but I mean,
it tells
it's a linear story.
It does tell a story, but there's not really much going for the story, meaning that like there's not a lot they're trying to achieve. Like they're kind of just existing, and you're seeing them treat people terribly and act terribly along the way, and that's what it is. That's fine. That's what it is.
What do you mean there's not? What do you mean there's not something to achieve?
Well, they're just going to deliver these fetuses, and then they do that, and then he finds out his grandma got killed and kills the other guy. Like it's just like things happen as a consequence from things.
There's a lot of wacky setups.
It's kind of just like you're just kind of following.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. There's too much going on. That's the only fault
going on. There's a story. They have to get a truckload of fetuses to Vegas so this guy can make hand cream, and along the way, she wants to kill and sacrifice and eat somebody.
Sure, that is the basic story. But the movie, the juicy part of the movie is seeing them live their daily life and how that happens. Like saying like, and
you
then
didn't like seeing a truck full of fetuses?
That was crazy. Remember when he opened that shit up?
Jesus,
yeah. Hey,
Christ.
Before we get too far, can I touch on the Wild at Heart thing real quick?
No.
The Wild at Heart thing, like what it is, it's not like the Sailor and Luna characters. This is essentially like they're very similar, but it exists in the same world. Like in Wild at Heart, Perdita Durango is actually a character in the movie Wild at Heart, played by a different, I think, Isabella Rossellini. And there's other crossover characters. So it's sort of like this universe that this Barry Gifford guy created.
This is Perdita's story. This is that story.
Character's story within that universe of like. If you've seen Wild at Heart, it's a very Lynch movie. It's just this absurd murderous couple, sexual, like crazy sexual driven. Like it's very similar.
It's to this kind of
in the character in the sense of characters. Like we said, it's like natural born killers and stuff like that as well.
Great. Yes, never seen it.
Just check it out.
Never seen either of those? You never seen Natural Born Killers or?
Oh, I've seen Natural Born Killers.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I wanted to watch Wild at Heart again before we did this podcast, but it's like not streaming literally anywhere. You can't. It's one of those like you can't even buy it on Amazon or rent it on Amazon.
I have it on Blu-ray. You can borrow it.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it years ago. I don't remember it super well, but I remember well enough to be like this.
When it went into the Criterion collection, it was like on sale, so I bought it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There's I just remember Willem Dafoe in that movie. He has like this crazy
he had the crazy teeth and shit. Yeah.
Oh, Billy Dafoe.
Yeah, Billy Dafoe's and he's like the villain sort of.
So this movie, the director of this movie, Álex de la Iglesia, he's directed like 16 movies. He's directed a lot of shit, and I've never seen any of them. And this movie definitely makes me want to see them. This is his third movie. Yeah. So this isn't even like him at the top of his power. Like this is the third movie he made. So he was still basically like young at making movies.
Well, yeah, I'm surprised this isn't like a cult classic. Honestly, like this has.
It is. That's what I've discovered.
All over it. Yeah.
That's what I discovered though. I've watched a bunch of reviews on this, and so many people have said the same thing. So many people have been like, actually, you know who it is? It's like younger white people that were like, I never knew this movie existed. And then they're like, but when they did, they realized that it was a classic, and so many people knew about it, and it released on like 4K restoration like this year. That's how I heard about it. Was from Mark Tomov. He was like, yo, you got to watch this fucking movie, and I saw it, and I was like, this is insane. And I was just like, yeah, this has got to be on the podcast. This is a great movie to talk about. And I knew you thought you were going to hate it, but I knew you would like it because of how Tarantino he was, like of how just it was like following people doing crazy shit.
Yeah, because there's like we were talking about the plot, like the IMDb is totally a fucked up way to go into this movie because the IMDb reads a psychotic criminal couple kidnaps a random teenage couple. The woman rapes the male captive.
Yeah.
And lets him watch his lover being raped by the man. They then plan to sacrifice the couple. And that's a part of it. That's like a scene in the movie. There's so much more to this movie. And like that almost spoils that scene because I was like weirdly going into this movie hesitant because I'm like, okay, there's another fucking rape movie. And then I was almost like waiting. I was weirdly waiting for that to happen.
Sexual assault in this movie.
Dude, a lot.
That was the first double rape scene, I think. While two separate.
You know who I didn't feel bad for? The guy.
Yeah, because there was a lot to that in the sense of like, did they they were kind of into it a little bit? Because there's certainly the Stockholm syndrome happened after all that, and they started becoming like friendly and Such a weird fucking movie.
it
Well,
did
the guy in fucking Javier become like buddies. It's almost like
Yeah.
it's his fucking protege. Like that's the craziest part about that.
Right,
And
yeah.
Rosie Perez hates that blonde chick to like from the moment she
I was
sees
waiting
her.
for her to blast her.
I mean, I thought that was coming like 20 minutes earlier than it didn't.
Once they were alone in the car, they
Yeah.
kept showing they kept showing us scenes of them together. I'm like, when is she gonna blast this bitch?
You know that was Heather Graham's sister?
Rosie
You know who I
Perez? No,
thought
it's
it was
not.
at first?
No, Amy Graham, the
You know
the
who I
blonde,
thought that was at
obviously the
first?
blonde girl.
I thought it was fucking the chick from Drive and Great Gatsby. I thought it was her when she was younger. I was like, it can't be. She's too
Harry
young, but
Mulligan?
It looked like a young Carrie Mulligan. From the first time I saw her, I was like, is that Carrie Mulligan? And then I was like, oh, no,
I don't see it,
no way.
but maybe.
I saw.
So
That
I've never
the first
never
time I
seen
saw it.
Carrie Mulligan like as a blonde. She's always been like
I mean, in
Brune-
Drive, she was
brunette-ish.
blonde. I think. I don't remember actually.
Like
I just
short
remember
hair,
That's the
that
first movie I saw her in was Drive.
okay. I like her. She's great.
Yeah, she's
Speaking
good.
of great actors, Javier Bardem, Rosie Perez, and Tony Soprano are in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
like
believe
Jim
this
Gandolfini
is-
in this movie.
I believe this is Javier Bardem's first English speaking role as well. I
Oh,
read that somewhere.
I
okay.
did. I watched one of the trailers and it said introducing Javier Bardem.
Yeah. Great hair.
Dude, the worst hair I've ever seen in my life.
That's the best hair I've seen him.
That's the worst hair. Anton Chigurh's hair is better than that.
And also great
I
hair.
love that he has two terrible haircuts, but his characters are awesome.
There's a point in this
Psychopaths
movie
with
where,
bad cuts.
like early, like there's a flashback where he has the straight Anton Chigurh.
Have you guys seen the movie The Counselor, the Ridley Scott movie?
I know what you're
Hey,
talking about, but
seen
I
The
never
Faculty.
saw it. Yeah,
That's a
doesn't
good
Javier
movie.
Bardem
That's-
have like crazy like
Javier
blonde
Bardem
spikes
was
or some
not in
shit?
The Faculty, and that's not a Ridley Scott movie. That's a Robert Rodriguez
I'm
movie.
just saying, you know,
still,
counselor, faculty,
yeah, he's in that movie. And he
the
has like
janitor.
he has like Goku hair, you know, like when Goku goes Super Saiyan and it's stretched up straight. It's like looks like that, and it's blonde. It's like he's got blonde tips, and he plays like this real feminine like arms dealer, and he's like always drinking. He's got like Versace, Gucci, silk clothes on. It's amazing. It's like the movie's not very good, but it's worth it for Javier Bardem's character.
And he was in a Bond as well with like
Yeah.
a weird
He
blonde.
was in Skyfall when he had the
That's
thing
right,
where his
yeah.
face was all taken out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
the
and he had,
best
like
Bond. The best
blonde
Bond movie ever.
eyebrows and like blonde hair, like similar
Yeah,
cut to the
Skyfall.
No Country.
Yep.
Dude,
He
I gotta
played
watch
the-
Skyfall again. Is
Yeah,
that
he
the
was great
one?
in
Is
that.
that the one with like that dope opening shot? They're in Mexico.
No, that's Spectre.
Spectre.
I get
Both
those two mixed
both
up.
directed by
Yeah.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah, they're
Never
both.
heard
Yeah,
of 'em.
because they're both Mendez and they're both Deacons, right? Doesn't Deacons?
No, the first one's
do both?
Deacons. The second one is Hoyt Van Hoytema.
So two fantastic cinematographers working with a great director. Yeah, I get those two mixed up, but they're both
Prove it.
pretty good. I'm not really into Bond movies, but those were right.
Skyfall is the best one.
What
That's
do
the
you
one
mean you're
Javier
not into
Bardem.
Bond movies? You didn't go to
No,
Bond
I'm not
movies as a
I'm
kid?
not a Bond guy. No,
Not a
I don't.
Bond
I don't
boy?
think. I think it was just maybe
don't
my
like Bond
parents
girls?
weren't really into them or something. I like
You're
Bond
gonna do
girls.
the
They're
new
cute,
Bond?
but
It's gonna be
You don't
Aaron
like
Taylor
Halle
Johnson.
Berry?
is that official? It's going to be Aaron
I think
Taylor
that's
Johnson.
gonna happen. That's what they say.
That's like your
Who?
opinion, man. There's a bunch of people running. Aaron
Aaron
Taylor Johnson.
Yeah, but he's. Like
I
the
think it's a
front
good
runner.
choice, though. It's a good choice.
The
He's
dude
young.
from Bullet Train. The dude from Bullet Train, the English guy.
The counterpart of one of the tangerines or
Yeah,
lemons.
he's one of the tangerines.
yeah. Damn, I
The
just
w-
watched him
the
in
white-
another movie. What was it?
He was also in the Nocturnal Animals. He was really
Yeah,
good
he
in that
was
as
in
the
Nocturnal
psycho
Animals,
guy
yeah.
that
He won a
kills
Golden
and-
Globe for that movie.
kills Amy Adams, or not Amy Adams, the other version of Amy Adams.
Yeah.
Jake
He was
Gyllenhaal's
also
family.
super. He was also in Kick Ass. He's the dude from Kick Ass. He's Kick Ass.
He's a pretty good actor. I
is
think he would
kick-ass.
be a good Bond for sure.
Yeah, and he's young. I think that's what they're going for. Anyway, who gives a fuck about that right now? Let's
Yeah, maybe
talk
he
about
dies in
Galen
a
Taylor
plane crash
Johnson.
and none of this matters.
Yeah.
yeah.
JFK Jr. is going to be the next Bond
What? Anton Yelchin didn't die in a plane crash. He was murdered by the government.
by his
Murdered
car
by his car.
He was murdered by the government, guys,
because the government pushed the car into him.
because his parents were Russian operatives.
Either way, a car killed him. So he did, and he.
That's were you there?
I seen it.
Allegedly.
Were you
I
there?
seen it. I
There were
seen
no
it.
pictures.
Allegedly.
There weren't. There was no even car video of the front or rear camera.
Weird. Isn't that weird?
What
That is
happened to
weird.
Anton
It was
Yelchin,
that was
dude?
weird. And it wasn't he on his own driveway?
Yeah,
Mm.
like in
You
a
don't
gated
think there's
community.
cameras? You don't got no cameras.
by himself.
Gated community. You ain't got no cameras by that gate where he was crashed. Come on. In a gated community? Come on.
Stanley Kubrick is not dead. He killed Anton Yelchin.
He fabricated everything. Anyway, what are we talking about?
Kubrick faking his own death to kill Anton Yelchin. Is that what we're talking about?
Kubrick faked his own death because now he's killing all the high up people that the government needs killed, and people
That
oppose him.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Have a 90-year-old man start
Well,
assassinating people.
Kubrick definitely shows you that he's got a lot of discipline. So if you need him to do something, he'll probably do it.
What do you think the Panther meant?
In the beginning, the opening scene? I mean, I think it just means she's fucking runs on the wild side, dude. She can't be tamed. Perdita Durango.
I thought it was something to do with Javier Bardem's character is like gonna turn into a panther or something, or a jaguar at some point.
His mom told him that he was a jaguar and he had to.
So he seen her in a dream and then he seen her in the market,
dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's a lot of crazy. There's a lot of pretty hilarious. I mean, 3 that I can think of.
This movie's funny. This movie's funny.
I laughed a lot. When we meet like the weird white kids and their family, and he's like, my name's Herb, like Herb Arnold, and he starts singing that song, and then like the next scene or the scene when they kidnap him, they're in the car and that song comes on,
singing the song,
and they're just dancing. He's just his stupid fucking haircut, he's just going like this for like way too long to that song. I thought that was really funny. Do you guys have haikus before we go any further?
I do.
I forgot about the haiku.
God damn it, Jake.
I'll go first then. Ready? Murder, sex, blood, flesh. Sexy haircut, Rosie's nips. Jaguar dreams are fun.
I feel like you wrote that in the first 5 minutes of this movie. Because it's
kind of encompasses the whole movie.
The first 5 minutes kind of encompasses.
It really does.
Her intro to her character when she's like, fly me out and buy me food, and I'll keep your dick hard for 5 days. I'll sell a little tit. She said I'll hook a little cow. She said I'll show a little tit. I'll hook a little cow. $50 a pop. I'll give you half. He's like, I gotta go.
I would be like, I don't know what any of that means, Rosie, but I'm in.
Oh, I'm in. I'm going for it. Lady company guy. My haiku is a wild journey with invincible cops and incredible teeth.
Ooh.
That was a haiku?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, get fucked with your critical.
It didn't sound like one. Like the way it came out, it didn't sound like one. Sorry.
Let's change it. Let's write a poem for each movie loosely based on haikus. How about that? And that way you don't get to say shit about our rhythm.
A poem based about the idea of haikus are based on.
About the movies.
Clearly
about the movie that we've just watched.
Anyway, hold on.
All right.
That was a haiku. Jake, you got one?
Okay.
What?
No, I don't. I gotta write it out. I wanted to listen to yours, so I'm not. I gotta pay attention to one thing or another.
What were you gonna say, Schwartz?
I was gonna say, hold on, I'm go to something else. I'm having a total blackout moment.
Cut the commercial.
I just got a text.
Let's just do this. Yeah. A wild journey.
Okay.
With invincible cops and incredible teeth.
Okay.
That's haiku for you, bitch.
Fine.
You know what I loved of this movie more than most? My 2 favorite characters were Screaming Jay Hawkins, which when I saw his name in the credits, I thought it was kind of high up, but I thought he's probably just going to be like a ancillary character in the background. He might make it like a fucking come and go, a cameo. What does cameo mean? Anyway, he was the whole movie. He was in the whole movie. He was his partner. He was weird. He was doing weird fucking Screaming Jay Hawkins shit, just going, you want a blanket? And like shooting fire in the background while he's chopping bodies up. I loved him. I loved every second of him in this movie.
Yeah, that scene where they were like voting on who dies, and they, it was like a 2-2 vote. He's like, well, I don't know what we do. Adolfo, he's like, kill the gringa. Okay, we're decided now. We're going.
It's been decided. They both choose each other. That was great. That was great.
Yeah.
I loved his whole role. Did he die? Did he get killed?
I don't remember what even happened. That was the last part I remember him being in, was that whole
Yeah, I think he just
that
fades
whole
out.
sacrifice scene.
Oh no, he's there the whole time.
Dude, that
He
sacrifice scene where he does the Santeria or pretends to do the Santeria and sniffs all the coke and all that shit, that was pretty intense. Like
The very first one.
yeah, that was pretty wild. That
Yeah,
was
when he
fun.
starts chopping the bodies up.
Yeah, that was wild.
Or the
I originally thought Screaming Jay Hawkins died when, like, after the "do you need a blanket" scene. I thought like she killed him for some reason. I thought like what she did, like,
oh yeah,
knocked him out, and then that's why she was like, "Kill the gringo."
He comes back. He comes back.
Yeah.
He's got like a head wrap on. Oh, speaking of coming back, Invincible Cops, fucking Gandolfini. I don't think his character was necessary at all, but it was hilarious.
It was.
Yeah,
the
it was
second
comic
time
relief.
when he gets, and I didn't think it until he gets like a giant he's already in like a neck brace. He already got hit by a car. He already he's
Got hit by a truck. Yeah,
he
he got hit by
a truck.
two vehicles, I
He's
believe.
sitting in his car, and a giant comes, smashes the windshield, pulls him out of the windshield, and proceeds to beat the fuck. And by this, right before that happened, I'm like, man, this guy could take a fucking beating. And then that happens, and that's when I started laughing. I was like, all right, this guy's fucking like Red in Pineapple Express. He just keeps coming back, and he kills the guy. And every time they're like, oh man, let me help you. And he's like, get the fuck out of here.
Sick reference. Yeah, because I thought he like got
Yes,
shot
yes.
on the part where he got pulled out. Like, I thought he also got shot because they like kind of showed a bullet hole in his head, and I'm like, okay, is he dead now finally? And then it was the guy on the plane that he just pulls down the newspaper, and then like
he's
there he is
sitting there,
again.
yelling at people, and his
Yeah.
partner, oh golly gee Whitaker's, chief, what's going on? I don't know. I guess they were more of the. I thought the whole movie was hilarious, but I guess they were more of the comedic relief, just coming to him every now and then.
Well, I just like how they literally, let's go through it a little bit linearly, I guess. So you're introduced to Perdita Durango. She's just this crazy woman who's trying to live life on the edge and commit crimes and murders and make money. And
She's just looking
live
for
life.
something to do, I think.
Yeah,
she's bored. She's
she's
bored
bored,
in
but she's
Arizona right now.
she's a killer. She's a menace. She's a menace to society. She's
We've
out.
never seen her
she's no
kill
bueno.
anybody.
I mean, she talks about it a lot. She talks about fucking eating people.
She says she wants to kill and eat someone. That I don't know that has she ever done that before?
I don't know. Either way, she's a menace.
I don't know,
And
it was a random suggestion. Just like it'll help your voodoo or whatever.
He was like, my mom's a witch, my dad's a Spaniard, and I got a ranch in Mexico. You want to come with me?
only if we kill and eat a white guy.
She
Yeah,
was
that was the
not
whole-
into him at all. And then the next scene, he had a bunch of money, and she was like, all right, let's go murder people. And then she's sucking on his toes in the bathtub.
Exactly, dude. She's a fucking menace. She's
She's a
a
crazy
wild
person.
child.
She's great. She's
Psychopath.
wild. She's that girl.
Wild
Wild.
child. So
Great body.
We pick up on her getting hit on by dudes, and she's explaining to him that she'll suck and fucking kill, and it scares this one dude off. And then she sees Javier Bardem and his fucking haircut from across the way, and they just lock eyes.
The
and
mustache.
It's love at first sight.
He's
Love
got
at first
he's
sight.
got a tiny little soul patch.
Yeah, he looks like he's fucking a murderer. He just looks like a killer.
He looks like a crazy person. Oh, and
Well, he
he's
was,
got,
like,
he's got
grave
snake
robbing.
boots on.
Yeah. So he meets Perdita Durango. They have this crazy sex-fueled conversation. He tells her, yo, listen, come with me. I just robbed a bank. Cut to the flashback of the bank. Robs a bank in a luchador mask and makes the bank teller show her titty, which is probably the most audacious and insane thing I've ever seen in a bank robbery movie. It just was so, I laughed my ass off, and I know it's a terrible thing, but it was so funny to me.
It was
And I was
bad.
just like,
It
this
was-
is crazy. This is absolutely fucking crazy.
I think that was my exact. I was just like, okay, that's he. And then he goes out, and then within the same robbery, about 4 minutes later, assaults another woman outside, and just starts making out with her.
Yeah, he's just a terrible person.
Yeah, I know. Like the fact that it's one of those old throwbacks to other movies where they're trying to get away from something, so someone just blends in by like, "Here, quick, kiss me!" Like
Oh,
I'm
that's
just some
what it
casual
was, yeah.
person that I'm. But he's like clearly
yeah.
groping her on the sidewalk, and cops just like fucking whiz by. He's
Hey,
like,
it
"Oh,
worked. He got out of there.
He fooled him.
Yeah.
So
and then
he
he keeps talking about his island, the island he comes from, which is pretty funny. He had like
Spain,
3
right?
or 4 little stories. I can't remember where it was, but it
was an island off. I think it was an island off Spain.
I can't. He keeps saying the name of it, but they keep going back there. It was like 3 miles long. He was the first story he tells is there were 2 cars on the island, and one day the inevitable happened. The 2 cars crashed.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
Huge explosion.
Huge explosion.
Rob Rodriguez style.
Yeah, I know. It like that. It had really nothing to do with the plot. I'm like, why did these cars
if
crash?
you told me Robert Rodriguez directed this movie, I would say this is a great Robert Rodriguez movie.
100%.
If they turned into vampires halfvay through this fucking movie, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wish I could have had that experience.
Like the van they were driving in the whole time definitely gave me the vibes of Dusk Till Dawn, like in the first half at least, when
D2D.
you got Tarantino and Harvey Keitel kidnapping that white family. Yeah, definitely.
No, Harvey Keitel was part
he
of
was the dad.
family.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Clooney in Tarantino.
What's funny is immediately my head like pictured Keitel instead of Clooney, and I was just like, that's not right.
Right. Yeah,
he doesn't have those tattoos.
Right.
Yeah.
I think my mind went to the wolf in like the the suit kind of deal, but yeah, Clooney.
So I think we're after this. How do they get together? She says how does she go with him? She's just like, you got a bunch
he just
of money,
convinces her. He's like, we'll go and we'll do whatever we want. We'll get money and live life and go crazy. And then she goes with him, and then she sees him do the Santeria thing. That's the first thing she sees him do, which is that is insane. That whole thing was crazy.
The editing there was weird because they met and then he robbed the bank and then they were in a van together.
And then
like,
they were just together.
He told her about robbing the bank. He didn't. It was earlier in the day.
She saw the
money.
money.
Was just like probably waiting.
She jumps in the car. He shows her the money, and then she's in like Flint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we see the first ritual.
Yeah, where he just snorts cocaine, fucking acts like he's being possessed, which is
a lot of cocaine.
Yes,
I believe
he also acts like
on the ground like a football player.
The way that was shot and the way that he did it was pretty dope. And he starts chopping up the fucking body parts and fucking just you're like, Jesus. It's insane.
He goes whole hog, dude. He commits Javier Bardem. He committed to that character in that scene.
Yeah.
In a great way. I thought it was silly, but it was also like fucking A. I mean, maybe he is possessed.
It was pretty cool to see because that took a lot of dedication to do.
And then they start chopping up the body.
And that robbery, just so for detail's sake, he had a partner that he fucked over during the whole process because they owed money to some dude named Catalina, who was we'll meet later. Played
all
by
goes back to Spain.
Damien Bircher.
Yeah, young Damien Bircher.
Mm-hmm.
Who's Damien Bircher?
You know him. He's in a lot of shit.
He was the guy later, the guy he tried to like give the girl to in exchange for because he didn't have the money anymore because I think he spent all the money.
He's the dude he owed the money to.
Oh, the old guy, the guy he meets in the limo.
No, he beats him to death in his like club or something. Santos is the older guy.
Yeah, Santos. That's Santos.
And then Catalina is the other.
He's the loan shark.
He just comes back. He comes in later and like and shoots him up right when they're dancing when they're about to kill when they're about to do the sacrifice. That's when he comes back in.
No, Catalina guy. Oh no, that's his partner. Yeah, his partner comes back.
What about the guy with one arm? That guy was amazing.
Oh, Dwayne or Doug.
One arm guy
his name was Doug
with his shotgun.
His name was Doug. He was in Beirut with him. He was like, I carried that arm across the battlefield for all day. He's like, I got there too late. The arm rotted. Dude, the dialogue. You're right. I mean, the more I think about it, the dialogue is pretty. It's like it is Tarantino, it's just not as poetic. Not as poetic, yes. But just like kind of the ridiculousness of it. Yeah, I didn't make it up. The Nazis were making soap out of the Jews in the 30s. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That scene.
Crazy.
So that I think that scene's next after they do the sacrifice scene. We meet Screaming Jay Hawkins. He's shooting fireballs and screaming fucking, they put a spell on you in the background. And And then they're taking a bath together, which is where they hatch the plan.
And well, she says, let's kidnap a fucking white family and eat them.
Yeah.
And she chews on his toes.
And she chews on his toes. Do you think those were really Bardem's toes?
I fucking think so, dude. That looked pretty Bardem-y.
And he's like, and not only that, he's like ashing his cigar and like pouring his wine in the fucking bath too. That did not look like hot water or clean.
That was definitely lukewarm water by that point.
Sucking Javier toes.
I think there's a very small chance those two had good hygiene.
Yeah, she was definitely the smelly girl.
Clean. She looked clean.
Look.
Anyway,
Javier
that
Bardem
was the most Tarantino part of the movie.
Was what?
Was the toe sucking sequence.
Oh,
TSS.
Yeah. I read a review where someone said that too. That was like the most Tarantino part was the toes.
Well, that was a dude toes. He's not obsessed with dude toes.
That's true too.
If there were like
Maybe
close-ups of Perdita's feet, that'd be very
but he
Tarantino.
was. But it's like this. It's fucking this super hot chick sucking on your toes. I'm into that.
Sure.
All right, so she tells them. She says,
"You're not into toe sucking, Shorts.
So hold on. No, I'm really not actually.
You're not into T and S's."
So Mr. Santos, who's a creepy fucking character, and the first time you meet him, he's pretty much just like, I think, raped a small girl, like it looks like.
No, that's the second time. The first time we meet him is in the limo. He goes, go to the limo, and he's like, all right.
Oh, that's
like,
a great
Mr.
scene.
Mr. Crazy Eyes. He's like, don't call him that. He goes in, it cuts to the limo. He's in there, music's playing, like classical music's playing. He's slicing a whole like Spanish ham leg in the back and offering him. I thought this was very I don't know. I love these. It's a very Drexel scene. You go in, there's like a weirdo sitting in the corner. Huh? Goes back to Tarantino.
So you see him do all this, and he offers him a job by transporting fetuses so that they can make cream out of them for makeup and shit. So he says, "Yeah, I'm great at transporting fetuses. Let's do it." And he gives him 10 grand and tells him at the other end he'll get another 10 grand.
Like
so
Bardem just like, I love it. That's a great idea.
Yeah, he's like, perfect. I love that shit.
That's what he goes. That wasn't my idea. Nazis were making soap out of Jews.
Of course.
This fucking dialogue is insane.
It's wild. It's fun. And then so that guy is one of my favorite characters at that point. And then they go and she says, all right, let's kidnap a fucking dude and his girl and we'll keep him. And then she rapes the dude and he rapes the girl.
Yeah, that scene was cool. When they go out and there's just a very quick scene of them jumping out of the van. He goes, he like finds one and she's in the car. He's like, no. And then she brings a drunk to him and she's like, no. And then she's like, fuck this. I'll do it. Pulls out her fucking Desert Eagle and walks in the crowd, finds the two white kids and grabs them both. And then it just tells everyone to shut the fuck up and gets in the car and kidnaps them. But yeah.
And they don't even know. They're like, what's going on right now?
Anthony, we haven't even talked about how much you don't like Rosie Perez. Did you like her in this?
I did.
I thought you would. You know why? She didn't have the same kind of snarl to her voice that she usually has.
She
Wasn't all
enhanced
pitchy
it.
and whiny.
She enhanced it through age. As like I feel like as she got old as fuck, she had to like that was just kidding. She's not old as fuck, but she had to like get a little more nasally with it to sound as young as she used and sexy as she used to.
I mean,
she's annoying in Pineapple Express. Come on.
The movie I remember her from is White Men Can't Jump. That's the first time I ever saw her.
She's super annoying in that.
She has that accent for sure.
Yeah.
She's got to be just playing it up.
I remember that was one of the reasons I didn't like that movie.
What'd you say?
I remember that was one of the reasons I didn't like that movie because Rosie Perez was so annoying in it.
That's funny. I think
that
she was
movie.
great.
There's a few reasons not to like that movie. It wasn't. What else? So yeah, they kidnap him. That's when that scene comes on. That trumpet song comes on, which made me laugh.
Yep.
Tony Soprano goes and meets that sheriff. Tries to get a partner. I don't know where they're at this point. This is like simultaneous to them getting raping each other.
No, yeah, they get raped. They rape them, and then they're going to try to find the truckload of fetuses.
There's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't know if they're in Mexico or Arizona or Vegas. Like, it was sometimes hard to keep track. But
there's so much going on. That's the only fault of this movie, if I had to say, is that there's a little too much going on. Like, this movie was like 20 minutes shorter because of less going on. It would have been that much better.
Yeah, I mean, I think the American edit
Is a little
is
shorter.
a
It's like
little short.
17 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that's part of it. I was thinking that too. Like this is
But
it
which one did we
sometimes drags a
watch?
bit.
We didn't watch the American one then.
Did you watch the AMC Plus? The one on AMC Plus? Did you watch that one?
I watched Shudder.
I think that'd be the same one because
Yeah.
Shudder's like a
So,
subcategory of AMC Plus.
I watched it on Freevee. We all watched it on 3 different streaming services, and I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube.
Well, like it's like a 2-hour, 10-minute version is
That's
the
what I watched, yeah.
original.
That's what I watched.
Version from Spain.
Yeah.
I was also surprised this movie was English because I went into it thinking this was a Spanish movie completely, and then I realized like, oh, okay, this is all mostly English.
Mostly,
Yeah.
it is a I think it's a Spanish. It is a Spanish movie. It was released
Spanish
in
as in
Spain.
like from Spain. Yeah, it was released in Spain. Yes, but Spanish as in like the language of the movie. I thought it was all going to be in Spanish.
Is the Spanish version? I would assume there's not any more Spanish in the Spanish version than there is in the American version.
I don't think. No, it was probably just the same. I don't know how long was the version you watched on Freevee. I'm just curious.
2 hour. It was like 2:10.
2 hour. Like yeah, okay, same version then. Yeah,
with commercials.
Okay. Yeah, so that would have been the same version, I believe.
It's good.
So
I don't know where we're going with that, but continue.
What we missed is that they were going to sacrifice the girl, the blonde, and then they get interrupted by the gang that they betrayed Romeo. Remember that?
Yes. Are
So
we
that
at that
happens.
point yet?
Well, we're there, and then we're at where James Gandolfini goes, where you were talking about, is where we basically are.
No, he's already met the cop by that point because they're gonna raid the place at the same time there because when the gang comes, the cops come and raid the place too. I think.
Okay, then where are we at then?
At the raid, they
Okay.
come there, so they're setting up for the sacrifice. They're inviting people over. It's gonna do the same thing as like the first ritual, but they're gonna actually kill somebody this time. And they have to choose one, and he goes to him, sits down, and by this point, the Dwayne not bonded, but they're cool. Like he's like, all right, I'm along for the ride almost, and because he also like just got fucked by Rosie Perez, so I think he's just like, this is not so bad,
Right?
Yeah.
And so
that kid
like,
actually like has like in the of all the things that happened to him, to survive that and to go through that would be a pretty interesting life experience. You're definitely not the same person after that.
They both survive.
Yeah, like you're not the same after that.
Definitely neither of them. What do you think they did right after that?
I wonder if they went and kept going.
I don't know. That was one thing I was curious about. I'm like, I wish they had kind of had a little more follow up on the couple here, but
You think they just went and became their own Bonnie and Clyde?
Or maybe
potentially they probably learned a lot.
Fall in love and they became peaceful people and raised kids in the countryside.
They did eventually fall in love.
They did. They were happier. She was kind of a psycho hose beast right off the bat, but
right.
He was also just kind of accepting it. They were just opposites because she was like freaking out on it, but also she got like horrifically raped and he wasn't experiencing that as bad of an experience.
Yeah, for sure. She definitely gets treated worse than him.
Yeah.
And then try to kill the gringa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So they're about to do the sacrifice. Screaming Jay Hawkins is still there. He's fucking shooting fireballs in the background and mixing up the body soup. And they got people there. They got people.
The visuals of these places are pretty crazy, authentic looking. And they're super.
What's
authentic.
funny was the people that were coming to the sacrifice was like they weren't like them. They were just like normal people.
Yeah. Before we go on, I got two lines from the earlier in the movie that I loved. One of them was when she and him are talking when they first meet, and she goes, "What are you?" He goes, "I'm a scientist." She goes, "You're not a scientist. You're a dentist. I can tell from the stupid fucking smile on your face." I thought that was a great line.
She said, "Like, yeah, from your teeth, right?"
Yeah, your stupid fucking smile, right? That's what she said.
I think she mentioned his teeth because at the very end he looks at his teeth and he goes, "Look at his fucking incredible teeth." That's why I wrote incredible teeth.
I think the smile was what she meant.
It's got a great smile.
And then my favorite line in the movie is when they first kidnap the couple and he goes, what are you gonna do with us? Are we gonna blah blah blah? And she goes, want to spend Christmas in hell?
Yeah.
And I was
She's like, "Are you gonna kill us? It's gonna be worse than that. Worse than
Yeah.
death. We're gonna spend Christmas in hell."
Yeah, and
And
I was just
I
like,
immediately
damn.
thought, oh, is this a Christmas movie? It's not a Christmas movie.
I
I
mean,
thought
it
it
is
was-
kind of a
would've been-
Christmas movie.
Does it take place around Christmas? Were they clear on
mentioned
that?
Christmas.
Okay,
That's
They
about as
mention
much
it.
as Christmas as Die Hard.
right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, there's a Christmas party setting in Die Hard. There was no Christmas party
don't
in this
think-
movie.
You don't know that just because we didn't see it. I mean, it's not going on. Maybe their
true.
sacrifices were for Jesus Christ, our
Yeah,
Lord
that's
and
true.
Savior.
Looked
We
like there
don't
was a
know who they were
quinceañera
praying
at one
to.
point. The gods.
The old and the new.
And not fucking energy, man. Don't give me that fucking energy hippie shit. Javier Bardem got mad.
All right, where are we at?
The
They
sacrifice. They make them choose, which was
they make them
which was
choose.
funny.
It's the Gringa, the guy that
Oh, this
Javier
was
crazy.
Bardem
He goes,
fucks
"Listen,"
over.
He
in the
goes,
beginning,
"Listen, I
comes
can't
back.
choose. I can't choose." Or me and Perdita talked. We cannot choose, so you have to choose who's going to die.
Let's decide between the four of us. They took a vote.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. They vote, and then it was, and then Screaming Jay Hawkins had to. What was his name in the movie?
Adolfo.
Adolfo. He had to
Yeah.
choose.
It's like,
And
Adolfo,
he
you
says,
choose.
kill the gringa.
Kill the Gringa. Yeah. She shouldn't have hit him
choice.
earlier.
Good choice.
Yeah.
So they're about to do that. They're about to sacrifice her. He's getting all coked up and crazy and sharpening their knives and shit.
And then the people bunch in.
Rosie Perez is in the back making him look, and she's just dancing like this with her gun. And then the guys come in behind her and they get raided.
Well, I think they don't get raided. It's the guy. I think the cops are outside waiting for something to happen, but the guy that Javier Bardem is his partner earlier.
Yeah, it's the guy with the money.
They bust in,
Yeah.
and then they try to.
Sorry, I called that a raid, Jake. What would you like to call it?
I feel like raid is like a police situation. This is more of an ambush.
Dude hates cops.
All right, so
Ambush.
Ambush.
they get ambushed / raided / found upon.
The
and
cops
they
were there, and
fucking-
they also raided.
They were preparing for a raid, but they got ambushed.
The cops
Two
were there. They
separate
also
things.
raided.
The cops
Two
were also
separate
there.
things.
The
and
cops were there. They
raided.
also raided.
They were ready to ambush. Raid.
And then they all escape. They do not sacrifice homegirl.
Nope.
Perdita grabs homeboy and gets him in the truck, saves his life, and they escape again.
Yeah, they go to find the truckload of
And
fetuses.
they say, "Let's go to the checkpoint."
And then the handoff is interrupted by fucking good old Tony Soprano.
Good old Gandolfini and his two goons. That
Gotta
sheriff
love him
dude
in
that
this
was
movie.
getting his dick sucked by that that old lady, not old lady, but just the non-desirable. And yeah.
They say in that scene after it was happening, it's like it's hot in here, and she's like, "Well, that's Sharon for you," or like whatever. her name
No,
was.
no, that scene's pretty hilarious. We cut to this sheriff. This is a while back when Gandolfini meets the sheriff. We just see him leaning back in his chair, looking at a picture of Ava Gardner. And we don't, we kind of know what's going on, but we don't really see anything. And then a guy walks in, like a deputy, like looks down, like all creepy, like, hey, sheriff, we got the FBI guy or the DEA or whatever Gandolfini is. And he's like, all right, give me a couple minutes and send him in. And he just goes, he sets the picture down. And he's like, all right, sorry, Sheila, we got to do this tomorrow or something. She's like, I got you tomorrow. And he gets up and walks out as Gandolfini walks in. And then the last line is, Gandolfini's leaving and he picks up the picture of Ava Gardner. He's like, oh, this is Ava Gardner. Huh? I've always liked her lips. And it just cuts to them at the checkpoint.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
gross.
Gandolfini was a great comic relief.
He was
character in
hilarious.
this movie.
I
Yeah.
think I wouldn't have liked him if because for the first few times he cut to him, I was just like, this guy's kind of unimportant, and he really is. He accomplishes nothing throughout this whole movie.
Yeah, true. That's true.
And once I realized that he wasn't ever gonna die, I immediately fell in love with
Right.
his character.
And the fact that we at least I do, you always associate that guy with a Tony Soprano character. It's just
Yeah.
easy to do with that
Yeah.
guy. But he was so not that guy. He was such a fucking bumbling goofball detective at times, like trying to still that badass kind of like tough guy character,
He
but
was a
like
tough
just
guy, for sure,
so
but he wasn't
like
the boss.
such a fuck up.
Yeah.
He was hilarious. I mean,
He's played those type of characters a few times actually. Like he was the dude in Get Shorty. He was Delroy Lindo's man. He was also in the one Total True Romance. He was the dude going after them who fucking like beats on Patricia Arquette's character, beats her up and shit. Like so, and then also one of his greatest roles that I don't even know if you guys have seen this movie is a movie called The Mexican with Brad Pitt and Julia Roberts, where he plays a hitman, but he's like a gay hitman. It's pretty great.
I saw The Mexican.
The Mexican's a good movie.
Never saw it.
It's a good one, Jake. I think you'd like that.
But old.
It's not old. It's like 2002, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess it's old now. It's 20 years.
I know what it is. I just never looked.
So we're at the fetus truck. The fetus truck pulls up. And they pull aside. The guy, I love the guy in the back, like with the shotgun that's in the freezer.
Yeah.
When he goes out, they're just talking shit on him the whole time, making fun of him. And then they get shot up. Like the fucking Javier Bardem kills everybody, right? And he shoots Gandolfini, but he's fine.
Of course.
And my favorite scene in that one is Gandolfini coming around the truck, and the guy in the back of the truck's back in the back of the truck, and he's just kind of standing there, and the other guy's laying behind the truck, and he keeps saying, "Hey man," like he's like trying to signal him that Gandolfini's coming around the truck, and the guy in the back like looks down and is like doesn't know what the fuck's going on, looks down and thinks he's telling him that his zipper's down. And he goes, "Oh, my zipper!" Like puts his gun down. He sips. The guy's like, "You fucking idiot!" And Gandolfini comes around and shoots him in the head. I love that. I would love to that guy. These little tiny, they were just like little tiny characters every now and then, were thrown in that were hilarious, and then just off, and then bye bye.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant about like how this movie is just like them going through experiences, and you're just meeting people and getting involved in how they meet these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a road movie.
And then right after that, one of the best, like this guy gets crushed by the car and his body.
Oh, that's a great scene.
Explodes.
Great scene. Great.
Oh,
scene.
that was great. I mean, I love a good person getting hit by a car. And then right after that, the best person getting hit by the car was when I don't know if it's right after this, but they go to the hotel. And he takes the kids to the hotel, and it cuts across the street to her dad, the girl who was kidnapped, dad, Herb, on the phone trying to calm his husband, her wife down. "Relax, honey. It's okay. You don't need to cry. I'm out here looking for her. I'm gonna find her." She pulls up. It's like, "Oh, whatever her name is, Estelle. And he runs across the street, gets slammed by a truck, does about 3 flips in the air, and dies immediately. Again, just a great, like, oh, this is hilarious. Like, oh, is he gonna
so many car deaths? What
does this scene like? And how would that scene have played out? Either way, that guy was gonna die, but no, he just gets slammed by a car. Nobody even knows he was there.
Right.
Hilarious. And then when they are released and are leaving, they're still cleaning up his dead body right across the street. We see like ambulances and shit over there cleaning up his body.
There's so much shit that happens in this movie that like I don't even remember half.
Yeah, a bunch of little details that for sure.
So that's when they let him go. What else? There's a scene where Javier Bardem breaks a bottle and stabs someone in the face with it. I don't know what that was, but I remember it being super gruesome.
Well, he finds out that his grandma's house was raided by the fucking gang, and that's when he goes to seek revenge on Damien Bercher.
Well, he owes Bercher money. That was the original reason
that's why they killed his grandma.
Very beginning, and that's why they killed the grandma. And I think, and he had some sort of like kind of a bait and switch situation where he was making it look like he was just going to give him the girl. It's like,
that's right.
This is your payment.
Right. And like, I got half your money, and then she's the rest.
Yeah, and then somehow he tricks him and then stabs him in the face with a bottle and beats him to death.
Kills him.
And then for some reason, that's when Damien Bercher's like, "Hey man, this shit's going on. Like your cousin's gonna kill you." And
was
Santos
that the plan the whole time?
He hired him to kill him. Yeah, he hired him.
That was the plan the whole time. Yeah. And then
which is another it's another callback to Wild at Heart, because in Wild at Heart, Sailor and Luna leave, and Luna's mother, who's this like really vindictive woman, hires Willem Dafoe's
Great.
character to kill them both, or kill Sailor at least.
So he takes her, offers her, kills them. They go back out, and then they're going to Vegas. And then they're in Vegas. Tony Soprano tells a joke somewhere in between. I think on the plane to Vegas, he goes, "What's red and white?" and goes 60 miles an hour. A baby in a blender.
Baby in a blender. Yeah, like a random dead baby. I mean, it was fitting because of the fetus situation, but it was very like
Random.
I did not expect a dead baby joke suddenly.
And not right there. They're on the plane. He's like bossing. He's like, tell them to get their ass in check and make sure that this is done by the time I land. And then he stops. He goes, hey, what's red and white? Goes 6 miles an hour. Baby
Well,
blender. It just fucks that guy's brain up. Because that guy's like the most like, oh, he literally says, oh, golly gee Whittakers. That's it. That's that guy's last line in the movie.
Well, that's what's so great, like, because the characters are highly unlikable and they're not good people, but like they're still fun to follow. Like,
what's unlikable about Soprano? Yeah,
Well,
dead
I mean,
baby
he's just-
jokes.
he's-
Come on, I'm
well-
all
well,
about
no,
dead
he's-
baby jokes.
he's just not a guy you should really give a shit about. Like, he doesn't with his game, his means of what he's after. His goal is like no one gives a shit about him. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really care about it.
Nobody cares as much as he does. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's his white whale, dude. He wants to catch this fucking guy.
I think it's funny when he sees in the same scene scene continued. He sees the father of Estelle on the plane, and they exchange words. But Estelle's dad's like whatever folding tray table on the plane is just completely covered in like mini shot things, like mini liquor bottles. Just completely like he has like
I
probably,
didn't
20,
see.
30.
I didn't notice that was him, but I remember
that
that
was the
scene. I
dad,
didn't
yeah.
notice that was him.
Mhm.
That's hilarious. There were I watched this movie like 1.5 times, but I need to watch. I think this is a multiple watch movie just because there's so many retarded callbacks that are hilarious.
Yeah, I watched it twice.
Weirdly detailed. Yeah, I watched it twice too. I picked up a lot more in the second round.
It seems like it's just going back to what we keep saying. It just seems like a movie that you shouldn't like as much as you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they're in
it's
Vegas.
entertaining.
They're in Vegas. It's super entertaining. It's super. There's not really a boring moment in this movie.
No.
And it's Natural Born Killers-esque, but it's just not as it's
not as in your face.
As weird as it sounds, it's easier to follow than
Well,
even-
Natural
And
Born
it's just
Killers,
it's just funnier. It's just like the
editing.
absurdity, the humor of it, like the dark humor. This is a dark comedy, I think,
This
at
is
its
100%.
core.
This is a dark
100%.
comedy.
100%. Natural Born Killers, the editing too makes it kind of a different experience because it's like it's edited very like artsy and
Takes
like
you out of it.
crazy. It makes it really satirical. You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to be like, yeah, we're trying to talk about how like we're trying to talk about this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is like. I think that's why Tarantino took his name off of Natural Born Killers. Like, if you ever noticed, it says
Yeah,
story
he
by as
doesn't
opposed to
like it.
screenplay by, because he said Oliver Stone
Fuck it up.
changed so much that like he changed like what's in the script, what's in the movie, like isn't even what he wrote. So it's like
This
not-
isn't
not it.
another weird thing with IMDb. Like I think IMDb does this movie dirty. Like it's categorized as an action crime horror, like maybe action crime comedy, but
That's what this
like,
is.
Yeah, what horror is in this movie other than maybe like the
There's a lot
Santeria
of
scenes are
horrific
sort of like
things going on in this movie.
yeah, I don't yeah, I guess I think horror, I think scary. Like there aren't
Rape,
scary moments to
Rape,
this movie.
murder, cannibalism,
No, it's bad.
Yeah, it's got all that
dismemberment,
shit.
a human sacrifice,
Oh, yeah.
Santeria, voodoo,
All right.
Screaming
There's
Jay
there's some
Hawkins.
argument there, but
Cocaine.
cocaine.
no
or
mention of
something.
comedy
We don't
in the
really know if it was
description.
cocaine or even
None.
something crazier.
Well,
Yeah.
even in Tarantino movies too, it's the same thing. Like at heart, they're all comedies. In
That's
every Tarantino movie, there's at least 3 or 4 laugh out loud moments. Like
Yeah.
all of them, like you just laugh out loud. And like a lot of the characters,
That was the dad getting hit by the car
Journeys.
for me.
a lot of the characters' journeys in Tarantino movies, as in this, they go through situations that they're absurd, but in the absurdity, it's hilarious.
right. Like I think Django is probably Tarantino's funniest movie, and I'm just
Django is hilarious.
for the sake of looking, it's just simply
Schwartz's favorite line was in
drama
that movie.
western.
What was that line, Schwartz?
Django.
Django.
Calm
Uh,
down,
song.
gentlemen. I mean you no harm. I'm just a weary traveler traveling in the night.
Where are we? We're at the end. This is the end. So he pulls up in the truck with the baby feet. It's just we cannot understate how funny it is that his job is to transport baby fetuses across the country so they can make hand cream.
And it's completely like
he's
normal
hijacking
to them.
Where are these baby fetuses going in the first place? Before he Fast and Furiouses them.
That's a great question.
Whose baby fetuses are these? Are they going to
probably-
Cartman in that episode of
They're probably going to Mexico where you can buy stem cells.
Oh, I don't think that's
Yeah,
really where they get
maybe.
stem cells, but
No, it
it's
is.
truckload of baby fetuses.
So when we worked on a show in Mexico, we met this lady at the bar at the bar hotel we were staying at, the hotel bar we were staying at, and she had like all this like long clothing on covering herself, and then like someone saw her arms and her neck, and it would look like she had like burn marks. She said she was struck by lightning like 3 years ago, and the only way that she survives is by coming to Mexico and getting stem cells. Otherwise, her
damn.
body would just like burn up from the inside.
Yeah,
thought
I'm saying that there's other places to get stem cells than just baby fetuses that I think.
Sure, but I mean that's
But yeah,
interesting though.
you're right. They can. You can
It's a
get that.
movie.
That's what
It's
the
a movie.
Christians were worried about.
What I thought you were gonna say is there's this lady in Mexico with big baggy clothing, and she walked over to us and she opened her coat and was like,
You guys want some baby
You guys want to buy
fetuses?"
any baby fetuses?
No,
Crack
that would have been
babies?
insane. That would have been
Right.
insane.
She
So
I
has
would have
like,
been like,
has
what?
fetuses dangling in her coat. Like,
I'd be
which
like,
one would you like?
fuck, lady, you crazy. Give me two.
Yo, what was up with them fucking in the desert and the like jet flyby?
That was a weird shot. Doesn't really make
I
that a lot.
remember that.
That was one of those random like, okay, because I caught that in the second watch where they like get into an argument
Yeah,
at one point, and then they like
they
are
like
basically
cut
like,
each
fighting.
other. They're bleeding, and then they start fucking.
They went from fighting to fucking like real fast, and then like a jet like whizzes by like the cactus they're fucking right next to.
Yeah,
That in itself, fucking right next to a cactus,
yeah.
that seems like
careful.
a real bad idea.
As soon as she was pulling her pants down, number one, I was like, nice. But number two, I was
Yeah.
like, careful.
It's a cactus right there.
And there was a scene
Cacti
where
next to the pussy.
he was about to shoot somebody with the cactus behind him, and it looked like devil horns. That was kind of cool.
Right.
Cool
Yeah, the
shot.
visuals in this were insane, and I love that. I think this is top 5 Javier Bardem acting.
He commits.
Top 5 Javier.
He's a great actor. And when he plays a psychopath, he plays a psychopath very well.
He does.
So they pull the truck up. They leave. This is he leaves Rosie Perez. He goes with a one-armed dude named Doug that he fought the war with. They take the truck to the warehouse where he's going to meet up with his cousin. Rosie Perez knows that his cousin's going to kill him, and Javier Bardem, I think, knows that his cousin's going to kill him too.
Yeah.
Well, he told him. Damien Bursher told him.
That's right. No, they know. Everyone knows what's going on. At this point, Rosie Perez lets go the kids and goes after him. And the cousin, they're talking. The cousin kind of tips him off that there's a guy about to shoot him. So they get in a little gunfight. The cousin shoots Doug, which is fucked up to kill a cripple like that. And then he points his gun at Javier, his cousin, and he was like, yo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? And he was like, no, dude, we ain't gonna kill each other. There's always a second option or third option. Javier leaves. Rosie busts in and it's like, Romeo, I love you. And he gets killed.
Yeah, she sees him get shot in the back.
She sees him get shot in the back. And from this point on, this ending is just phenomenal.
And then that's when the raid happens.
And then the raid happens, but she then
escapes.
shoots the cousin, kills him.
Oh, right.
And then she escapes. She's super sad. Gandolfini comes in. We missed a part in the movie where he's talking about the first time that he went to a movie and he saw this Western with Burt Bacharach or something. I can't remember what it was. But it was Western. So in his vision, as he's dying, Tony Soprano's walking up on him, and he kind of morphs into the movie, and he's the bad guy on the ground, and Tony's the good guy, and he just kind of smiles and then dies.
Yeah.
Cool way interesting way. Just super interesting
Burt
ways to
Lancaster.
end stories. Burt Lancaster.
In Veracruz.
Yes. They saw it in the little theater in there where after the cars crashed on their island.
Yes.
And then it's just Rosie Perez after that. It's like the worst day of her life, walking through Vegas with everyone around her being like the happiest weekends of their life. It was a good juxtaposition of how sad she is, and it was very great ending.
It was a satisfying ending to a
very
crazy,
satisfying,
crazy story.
At the end, you were satisfied, Schwartz.
What is crazy is to think that this woman just goes through life just like having these experiences, and all the people around her and just dying. It's wild.
I feel like that was a normal week for her.
Do you
exactly?
think that's
what I'm
normal?
saying. I think Perdita Durango's fucking bad to the bone, wild child.
Like she's just on her way about to walk up to some other dude, and she's like, "I'll fucking suck you all week long, and I'll split the profits."
Well, he walked up to her. She just had that option.
True. That was a different guy.
Keep your dick hard for 5 days, and then I'll show a little tit, hook a little cow, $50 a pop, and I'll give you half. What do you think?
Hook a little cow.
She said, hook a little cow. I wrote that down.
I'm pretty sure that means like finding a young girl to put on the streets.
Hook a little cow.
Oh, I see.
$50, you get half. $50 pretty cheap for a little cow.
Remember that little cow in Argentina when we were shooting that scene on the water, and it was just like tied up on the people's property? It smelled like shit, but it was adorable.
Were we in the middle of the water?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no. We were shooting a scene with a boat, with a little wooden like 8-foot boat that they had. It's where Robbie got tackled by fucking Tim, and they like wrestled him in a scuba suit.
Yeah.
Everybody took pictures of it. Remember the cow?
Yeah. I mean, I remember a lot of cows. We ate a lot of
little
cows.
cow though. It was this little cow though. It was in the middle of the fucking just sitting there. It was insane. It was cool.
Cows are cool. You know who loves cows? Indians.
Mm-hmm. They do.
I like this movie.
Yeah, me too. It's a great movie.
I like this movie a lot. I recommend this movie. It was a roller coaster for me. I didn't like this movie. I liked it. I didn't like it. I liked it. I didn't like it. I went back. I watched a little bit more. I was like, oh, that was pretty good. And then I watched a little bit more. And then I listened to a couple people's reviews on it. And I asked a couple people, thought about it a little more, ruminated. It was a roller coaster. Like the movie was a roller coaster. My emotions and feelings toward the movie was also equally as roller coaster-ish.
Yeah.
But I ended on top. That ending was, like you said, Schwartz, satisfying. I think there's nothing better to say about the ending than it was satisfying.
Yeah. And I think the visually it and some to say something about this movie is that, like we were saying, there's a lot going on, but we were never bored. I think that says a lot, because like I think other movies where there's a lot going on but I'm never bored, and it's because not only the story's interesting, the characters, but visually it keeps you entertained. And another one I feel is like that is The Rock. There's so much going on in the movie The Rock, but like because of visually how great it is and how interesting the characters are, you're never bored. Even as absurd as it gets, and as like sometimes it's just one scene after another of absurdity, you're just like, this is crazy. Like it's just wild. So it's entertainment in its purest form. And the more fucked up it is, the more crazy it is to me, the more entertaining it is. So I would definitely recommend this movie. I give this movie like a 7.7.
If you like The Rock, you'll love Perdita Durango.
If you like The Rock mixed with any Rob Rodriguez movie, you'll love Perdita Durango.
I liked the fact that it came out as Dance with the Devil. I mean, I don't know why I like it.
It was released in America. Yeah.
It released in America as Dance with the Devil. I think I hate when they do that. It's opposite of like, but I did like the line that he used in the movie when he goes, she's like, "Where are you going?" And he's like, "I'm going to dance with the devil in the pale moonlight."
It's from Batman.
She goes, "Fuck you." And he goes, "What? You don't like Batman?" She goes, "Fuck Batman."
That was amazing.
Because that made me think about it too. Who was the main? Do you think Perdita was the main character, or was Javier Bardem's Romeo? Was he the main character?
Perdita, dude.
I think Perdita was character. Like. I think
Perdita she's a title character.
She's a little bit more the main character. I think.
Can you Can you be title and not be main character? Benjamin Button,
I can't think
main character.
No, I agree with that sense that she was certainly the title character, but like it seemed like
there
was a more
Kill Bill, not main character.
There you go. Seemed like more backstory on the Romeo character, because there was a lot of like flashbacks with his stuff. I guess the movie started and ended with Perdita, so I guess it
Didn't-
was more about her. But
Is this a series of books about Perdita?
no, it was. There's a trilogy of books that 2 of the books are about Sailor and Luna, and then that it's like just existing in the world. And I think Perdita was a character in either one or both of
from
those
the
books.
story
and
that
then from that,
from the story that it was called 59 Degrees, the story of Perdita Durango.
Yeah,
I guess
so
it was
her character was in the first 2 books, but this 3rd book is based on her specific
it's
character.
more focused on that
Gotcha,
character.
gotcha,
And I believe it was supposed to be a prequel to those Sailor and Luna part, like this, like her,
That
like
I
an
don't know.
older version. That's what I read. It was an older version of her are in the Sailor and Luna books. This was like a younger Perdita.
59 Degrees and Raining, the story of Perdita Durango. That's what the book, I guess, is called. Because in my head, I was thinking if it was just a series of stories about her, or if that book is just her go like a series of stories about her going, meeting people, and then I
Right.
can see that. But I still think she's even though she's probably focusing, or the stories maybe focus on who she meets, it's all through her eyes.
Right. And interesting, like the author of those books also wrote the screenplay to this film.
Makes sense. There was a lot in it.
Yeah.
7.9.
Nice. 7.7.
Like a 6.
Think
It was,
about it.
it
Think
was,
about
it was,
some more.
I enjoyed it, but I was going to give it lower, but this conversation even made me like it more. I was going to give it like a 5.5, maybe in like closer to 5, but I came to appreciate it more through this conversation, but it still wasn't like a great movie. Like I wasn't in love with this movie. It wasn't super well done, but I originally didn't think I liked the writing of it, but it took me a second watch to realize all these little weird details that I was like, oh, there's a lot more here that I kind of overlooked my first watch. So,
And I think what makes it even more impressive is that they filmed all those details too. So I think the filmmaking aspect of it, like I think it's a very well made movie. Like it's definitely a really well made movie.
Visually great.
because it doesn't
in the I mean, they in the beginning credits, you see there's like 3 lines of special effects artists. And at the beginning of that, I was like, man, it seems like a lot of special effects for this kind of movie. And then after watching it, I was like, okay, I see where all that money went to.
Yeah.
Not all that money, but I see where probably most of it went to is those flashbacks and explosions.
because I could give you that. I would agree. If you say this is a B movie, I think this is one of those occasions I would agree with you.
But it's got a $4 million budget.
That's not that much money.
But it's not the argument you've been having.
So it's not a B movie. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I think it's a B movie for sure.
All
As
right.
a
Can we
definitely.
agree on something for once? Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
sure. All right.
See if they're tries.
If you like The Rock, you'll love this movie.
If you like From Dusk Till Dawn, you'll like this movie.
Watch this movie.